let's hit it. And welcome to Alzheimer Speaks Radio. I'm your host, Lori La Beywith, and I'm so excited that you're joining us today. We are going to have a fascinating conversation as usual as we learn from people all around the world at all ages and stages of life. Stay tuned as we shift our dementia care from crisis to comfort. All right, here we go. What you think about, you will bring about. Well, hi, everyone, and welcome back to Alzheimer Speaks Radio. If you liked our opening music, it's called Clarion Call by the Mark Arneson Band featuring Maya Dore, and you can download that on any of your favorite platforms. Some of you might not know, but October is Lewy Body Awareness Month. We always have to be conscious of what we're raising the voice of, and so you know, if you just Google Lewy body, you'll find lots of good information out there. For those of you that are new to Alzheimer Speaks Radio, we're about sound news, not just sound bites. So we like to have an hour-long conversation with our guests so that we can really raise all voices, big and small, from those diagnosed to those that care and serve them, advocates, researchers, and more. And our audience members can call in and join the conversation if you'd like. We just ask that you're respectful and that we stay to the topic, which we're going to be talking about engaging the world through activities with Maria's Place. They've been with us before, and I'm thrilled that they're back with us again today. So again, that call-in number is 323-870-4602. That's 323-870-4602. And, of course, I want to thank our listeners. You have helped us build this sense of community, collaboration, and comfort so that we can win this battle against dementia. And I really appreciate your efforts, and I hope you will continue to like, click, and share our information here on Alzheimer Speaks Radio. As I mentioned today, we've got Maria's Place with us. But before I introduce our guest, I just want to let you know about some upcoming shows. We're going to have Immune Bio on. They're going to be talking about some research that they're working on. We're going to have Valerie, who's living with dementia over in Australia with us, and Erin Blight, who is an author with a new book out that I think will be really helpful. So if you haven't subscribed to our show, that might be something of interest. All of our shows are archived, and some of our recent shows were on Smart Living in Estate Planning with Catherine Hodder, Hodder. She has an amazing book and a family minder, which is it's incredible the detail that is in there. But she's an attorney, and so detail is her specialty. We've talked about duty of care versus dignity of risk, and we were honored to have MD VIP with us talking about brain health, and they have a brain health quiz that you can take. In fact, I just took it the other day, so I'd encourage you to check that out. There's also a survey for dementia caregiver burnout that was put together by Chantal Horn, who is a student in New Zealand, and both surveys you can access if you go to our main website, alzheimersspeaks.com, and yes, there's two S's in the middle. Who else do I want to give a shout out to? Artist Senior Living in Woodbury, Minnesota. They just started a virtual memory cafe, which I'm working with them on. Our next one will be October 21st from 1 to 2 p.m. Central Time. And if you'd like to register, you can contact them at 612-200-0506. That's 612-200-0506. Or you can go to artistway.com/Woodbury events on that. And again, you don't have to be in Minnesota or in Woodbury. That's the one thing that's cool when it comes to virtual events these days. I also want to give a shout out to Coral Health because they are still allowing people to download for free There are two music apps. One is Music First, and the other is Choral Faith. And then, of course, the MemoryCafeDirectory.com, where you can find virtual cafes around the world that you can access. There's about 900, I think, total listings, but of that, I think there's probably 40 or 50 that are doing virtual cafes because many still aren't meeting. So last, I want to hear from the Footbar Walker, and we will be right back to talk with our guest.
Introducing the life-changing Footbar Walker.
I'm Peggy from Danville, Kentucky, and I'm 91 years old. The Footbar Walker revolutionized my care of George. The saving that I made from having to put him in a nursing home came to about $192,000. The Footbar Walker opens and closes just like a standard walker. The only thing that is different is the top bar and the foot bar. Does that ever make a difference?
Does someone you love use a walker? Do they struggle to get up from a seated position? Are you a caregiver dealing with physical pain and stress as you help your patient? The Footbar Walker was designed to assist not only the patient, but also the caregiver. Patients have more control standing up, and no lifting from the caregiver is required. See how it works at thefootbarwalker.com. That's thefootbarwalker.com. Peggy, would you recommend the Footbar Walker?
Do I ever? I would not be in the health that I'm in today at this age had it not been for the Footbar Walker.
Well, that walker is amazing. I can attest to that. But let's go ahead and get to our guest today, who is with Maria's Place. We are lucky to have Stephanie Giangiulio. I'm probably crucifying her name, even though we practiced it before. I am the world's worst. She is the director of Therapeutic Recreation at Maria's Place. And I can't wait to have this conversation with her. Her sidekick, Nichole, who's the CEO, was going to be with us, but her son was exposed to COVID and is only 2, and so she is at home taking care of him, and we wish them the best and totally understand why she can't be here. So welcome, Stephanie. How are you doing today?
Hi, thank you so much. I'm doing well.
And so did I totally crucify your name? Why don't you pronounce it the right way? Because I know I spoke.
It's Giangiulio, but you were close. It was good.
Okay, well, you're being kind. Thank you. I always like to start out asking all of my guests if they have been personally touched in their own family or circle of friends by somebody with dementia.
Yes, I absolutely have, in plenty of different unfortunate ways, and it's just pushing me even more to advocate. So I'm ready to fight and continue to.
Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you for sharing that with us. It just helps us keep things in perspective from an audience value there. Now, I want to ask you first if you can just explain a little bit of what Maria's Place is. Even though you guys have been on the show a couple of times, we probably have some listeners that's like, what the heck is Maria's Place? So why don't you just give us a little explanation of that first?
Of course, yeah. So we basically are a company that provides a variety of activities in just a multitude of ways to just help, I guess, organizational needs and encourage the maintenance and increase in quality of life and well-being of our older adult population. That's kind of the basic description that I like to give out.
Okay, well, sounds good. I adore this company. I think they just have fabulous information for both professionals and families. And they're just really a trove of gifts on their site, which is just mariasplace.com. Now, how did you come to join Maria's Place and the team there? And why don't you tell us a little bit more about your role too, Stephanie?
Yeah, it's a fun story. I'll make it short and sweet, but I am actually a certified therapeutic recreation specialist. Prior to Maria's Place, I was working at a senior center in Colorado, and I was the director of life enrichment of a company or a home that consisted of long-term care, short-term care, memory care, and assisted living. And I just found myself doing a lot more time researching and planning than I really could implementing and making things person-centered, meeting each need of all the different levels that I had in individuals, and just really making each activity personalized to them. It was just difficult to do that. But I met Nichole about, I would say, 3.5, 4 years ago, and she introduced me to Maria's Place. I fell in love immediately. I kept becoming just more fascinated with sharing the company because I kept seeing the success that I was having with being able to spend more time on the floor, engaging with my residents one-on-one, and still having creative activities that were even more creative because I wasn't spending the time searching for them and figuring out, how I'm going to implement them. I literally could just grab it and go, and, I can make it personalized to each resident, make sure they all had success. And so, my passion became what I'm doing right now, and it's, really being the change. I love it. I'm coaching others on how to, do it all, while using Maria's Place, just taking away that behind the scenes for the directors so they can really focus on being more hands-on and impact each life how they really should be able to. So it's very special. I love meeting the directors and their departments and just helping them succeed so that we can just impact more older adults as much as we can.
Well, and I would imagine with COVID in place, people need your help even more than they did before. Are you seeing that as a true statement, or am I kind of left field there?
Yes, absolutely. When people are in their rooms and you have to be alone, you're lacking all of your quality of life, like your social, your emotional, your spiritual. Every single need that you have, you just are. It's really hard to find, already, but then add that, kind of rule of, stay at home or stay in your room to it, and you just kind of feel defeated. And so I know activity directors started to feel defeated because they didn't know how to meet those needs when they couldn't do a group activity. But our programming is able to, all of our activities you can do one-to-one, you can do them individually, and you can do them as a group. So it was really nice to have that option for people during COVID, that they could just do something individually with or one-to-one with a resident.
Yeah. Now, if you go visit the site, it'll pop up. You've got free activities, and then you have activity boxes. Let's talk about the activity boxes first, and then we can kind of go back to some of the free resources. But what is an activity box, and who is it for?
Yeah, so we have many different activity boxes. They're all for older adults, anyone who's looking to, I like to say, again, use it, not lose it. Anyone that wants to use those skills and not lose those skills, this will suit you well. People that are independently at home, people who might be living with some roommates, older adults in senior homes, assisted living care. There's a multitude of different people that it can be used for, and I especially like to add individuals who maybe are visiting with their grandchildren and they have nothing to do with their grandchildren. All of these activities are so fun to do intergenerational. I've personally done them myself with my grandparents, and it's super fun. But to the boxes, we have multiple different ones, a fun box, a standard box, customized box, printed daily box, and we are coming up to launching our memory care edition, which will be memory care specific activities that you can add on to the boxes, or you can get them just separately. But all of them are serving that same purpose, which is what I just said, use it, not lose it. There's a variety of activities in each box. We're focusing on just engagement and really that physical, mental, social, and emotional well-being in each activity. We're trying to target one of those domains. And we have options that also will provide you with, if you want extra copies or you want supplies to go with the activities, anything that you want to cater your needs, we're going to put it in, the box that will fit you right, and that will give you that grab and go success, just like I had and our caregivers had, which I just find is so important.
No, you've got the fun box. I'm just on your website as we're talking here, and it looks like that's for seniors and for families, and that's like $39 a month that you can sign up for. And then you've got this monthly activity box for senior living communities, which is $240 a month, and then you've got printed daily activities for senior communities, which is now $89 a month. And it looks like the printed daily activities also includes instructions and a supply list for people, and 75 plus activities for the month. That's a lot of offerings, in all of these. Now the monthly activity box, that looks like it comes with the detailed instructions, but it also comes with supplies and the calendars as well. So that's got to really cut down on staff time in terms of preparation and, like you said, research. You're able to spend more time on the floor engaging instead of researching, what am I going to do now? And I think that that's so critical, especially given COVID right now. We need as many hands on deck engaging people to try to fight off that isolation. And it's cool that you've got one that's all set up with games and brain teasers and craft supplies for families themselves, and how to do that. So, and then you said you're going to be adding another one that'll be dementia and memory care specific, which is really, really cool in and of itself. Now, one of the things that I really enjoy about your site is, that it's really simple to maneuver, but that you have so many free things for people to be able to access. So if somebody just wants to test things out before signing up for something, there's plenty to do. And it looks like you've got sections for creative activities, mind and body, and then the planning and education pieces, for people. And I want to give people just kind of an idea of some of these free accessible things. And again, if I'm misinterpreting anything, please let me know. But under creative activities, you've got crafts, you've got Maria's journals, you've got recipes, you've got coloring. You have seasonal activities that hits Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, and Easter and Thanksgiving, Halloween, Christmas. And then you have a section for caregiver stories. Can you explain what the caregiver story piece is? Because offhand, I wouldn't have pictured that here. But so why don't you tell us a little bit about what that portion is about?
Yeah, so we like to have things that we all can connect with, especially as caregivers. Sometimes you feel like you're alone. And so some of those caregiver stories are going to share just maybe moments of success or moments of hardship or things that we might be all going through, and those specific caregivers might be going through, and it just helps if we read it in that moment and we're then educated that we're not the only one who went through it, and we actually have tips on how they got through it, or what they're doing to be successful, or things like that. Just to have a little community to kind of rely on. It's definitely something that I leaned on when I was using the site as a director.
Well, that's wonderful. And when you go under, these categories, you've got vivid pictures, you've got videos with them. I mean, you've got instructions, supply lists. I mean, you really break it down. So it's very, very usable. And then you've got like the category of mind and body activities, which has things from different types of word games and quizzes and brain games, sensory activities, reflections, scenic videos, exercise and massage, meditations, trivia, spot the difference, memory games, and games in groups. What is games in groups section about?
So we have a variety of games that also can be, I guess you can also put it into like exercises, but we like to give a couple games that people can do that might work, cognitive skills or fine motor skills. One game we just put into a box was the card game War. or sometimes we use a game that is more hands-on, like a beach ball toss in the air game, things that are more physical, so you can actually be getting some exercise too in a fun way, and you don't really even recognize that you're doing it. So that's kind of geared towards a group setting, but a lot of those are just different types of games that you might not, they might be older games, or you just might not even realize it's actually an exercise and it's a fun game that you can do with other people.
Okay. Yeah, it's just so impressive what all you have listed here, and the list just kind of goes on and on. Now, it looks like we've got a caller on the line, and again, anybody can call in and join the conversation. It's 323-870-4602. That's 323-870-4602. So let me just see who we've got on the line. We've got a caller from a 0170. You're live and on the air. Can you state your name, please?
Yes, I'm Renee Anderson with Caregiver Connection.
Well, hi, Renee. Well, thank you for calling in.
Sure. I just wanted to say I use Maria's Place on a weekly basis. I'm the executive director, and we do what is called a senior spot, which is a day program. And even with COVID, we do it online. And so our seniors, connect in through Zoom, and we do. But one of the things I do almost every week is the body and mind exercises, the word games, the brain teasers, the trivia, and the seniors love it. And I have seniors with, all different levels of cognitive ability, and it has just been such a wonderful thing. And they love the one that it's like, here's a letter and name all these things that start with this letter. They're like, give me another letter. I mean, they're always, they love it. They love it. And so I just wanted to just, touch base in here and let you know that it works. This is a really good program. It's, I can hardly wait till I get the email every Monday, and I'm like, okay, now what? What are we going to do? And then I'll go into the website, and I'll get lost in the website because there's so many cool things to do. And, but the seniors love it. I find it very easy to follow, and it's great. It's a really good program, so I just wanted to add that there because it is such a good thing.
Well, wonderful. Well, I appreciate you calling in for not just to lift Maria's Place up, but I really want to pat you on the back for being an adult day program that is doing something virtually, because what I'm hearing is very few are, and families need this support so badly.
Yes.
And what I've seen and heard, not just in our country but around the world, is that many have just shut down. And same with memory cafes. There's probably 40 or 50 that we know that are virtual out of maybe 900. And that's not enough to fill the gap. And so to be able to show how this can be utilized to pivot during this time, and hopefully afterwards too, because there's a lot of people that just can't leave the house. And
exactly.
I see this virtual not going away, but just being an extension of services when we do get back to kind of a normal in-person setting. Do you see that applying later on down the road as well, Renee?
I think I do. I see that it because there are many people that just plain cannot leave their home, and so what we've done is we've supplied everybody, whether it be the volunteer, if a volunteer is working one-on-one with someone, or if it's the senior themselves, we have given them a tablet, and we've preloaded it, and we've made it very easy so when they get in, they don't have to go, which number am I supposed to hit for Zoom? It's like one thing, and they hit that, and they're in. And I had many people say, seniors are not going to be able to do this technology. And I'm like, yes, they will. Give them some credit. If they have more cognitive issues, then yes, the caregiver needs to help with that. But once they're in, and they enjoy doing, so. it works, and I think it's going to be a while that we're going to continually doing this. So.
Yeah, I know here in Minnesota we've got quite a few that have said they're shutting down. They can't afford to stay open. Stephanie, what are your thoughts about what Renee is saying about Maria's Place and how the activities are helping? Are you seeing that with others as well?
Yes, thank you so much for calling in and sharing that too, Renee. It was awesome.
Sure.
The fact that you're doing virtually is so amazing, and I love that you shared that part because it just goes to show like how versatile everything is, and having the website and our programs, how much you can just cater it to someone's need in whatever way that it is. I just love that so much. And yeah, I absolutely think that it's a wonderful thing that you're doing, and I'm just so excited to keep helping you guys.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Any other comments you wanted to make, Renee? Because I see we've got another caller on the line as well.
No, I just wanted to be sure that to tell the listeners that this Maria's Place is I couldn't do it without him. Seriously, because every Monday I'm like, okay, which activity this time? And like I said, they want more. The seniors are like, well, can you give us another one? And I was like, okay. And I have to hurry and get on the, find another one because I usually have 2 or 3 and they want more. So it's something that it's so valuable for me. It really is. So I just wanted to say thanks.
What a nice problem to have, with that. So, well, thank you so much, Renee, for calling in.
You bet.
Yeah, it's nice to hear people who are actually using a product and what their thoughts are and what the response is from the people that they're using those products with as well. I'm going to go to the other caller here. We have somebody from an 8667 number, 8667. You're live and on air. Do you mind stating your name and where you're from?
Oh, hi. My name is Pat Nolan, and I am with Eagle County Healthy Aging in their public health department. And I just wanted to give a shout out for these fun boxes from Maria's Place. I have been so excited. Just the variety that's in the box, and we just don't do enough brain stimulation, So I had a senior, one of my seniors, that she said that the paramedics come by her house and they check her blood pressure and her vitals, but she said they never check my brain. And so it is a concern for so many of the seniors, not just people with dementia, even though she was one that was kind of on her way there. But I think it's something that we don't pay enough attention to. We just think, oh, we're fine, or, oh, we'll do crossword puzzles, and that's all we need, But the variety of things that Maria and Nichole and Stephanie, whatever they came up with in the box, is so fun. It's got a combination of the crafts and and there's something in there to challenge any brain. So it isn't just, you might think, oh, it's just for people with, early stage dementia, but that is absolutely not the case. And again, a lot of the activities involve some socialization. Maybe interaction with a intergenerational, somebody in the family, or interaction with somebody else in the room and a group, or you can do some of the things individually. So I just think it is the best value for the price every month. So I'm very excited about it.
Now, you said you were with Eagle County Healthy Aging. What type of groups are you utilizing the boxes with, the activity boxes with?
So I work in the community, not in a facility. And so we have, community lunches a couple times a week. And again, these are different times, as I know you guys discussed already, the whole COVID. But I think, again, it works for the smaller groups that we have. We have introduced them, again, just a month ago, to the smaller groups, and then there's been some people that have opted to get them delivered to their home and do them individually. So again, depending on the person's cognitive status, makes a difference if they need a buddy to do them with or not.
Gotcha.
Gotcha.
Well, and that's saying, a pretty big strides. If families are saying, hey, we like this enough, we're going to order it directly as well. I mean, that's a pretty big compliment, Stephanie, to Maria's place, I would see, as far as that goes. Anything that you wanted to add, Stephanie, to what Pat is talking about?
Yeah, actually, Pat, thank you so much. It's so good to hear from you.
Thank you. I've been so excited
of course.
ever since you introduced it. Yeah.
Oh, well, I love to make the point. It's so easy for someone to pick an activity and just implement it. Like if it's a caregiver, you can just pick an activity and implement it. But I think what most are missing is, and I keep saying this, but it's the personalization in it. Meeting the person where they are at today, not yesterday, but today, and actually having successful engagement. So, Pat, I love that you said, you mentioned the variety and how it's not just for, early stage dementia or someone who might just be like an independent at home. It totally could be. There's definitely programs in there for them. But it's also for people who might be in the later stages or middle stages of that dementia, who have a caregiver or a loved one who can sit down with them. And on our activities, we break down how you can actually do each activity with each stage. And that, to me, was something that was crucial, working with any senior or any older adult that I worked with that had dementia, because sometimes I'd feel stuck on how to communicate with them or how to get them to, even be interested in what I was trying to do. I knew they wanted to use their skills, but I didn't know how to implement it. And so this whole entire, each activity we have will break that down for you. And I just think it's so cool to see the individuals actually successfully engage and actually feel like they have been, met where they were today. And they're not just sitting back and watching or looking at others be successful. They're actually, having their boredom be decreased and their happiness increased. And in the end, it's really just like it's increasing everybody's quality of life and, the caregiver, the family, the actual person doing it, and just seeing that fulfilledness, the entire quality of life just being fulfilled. It's just so heartwarming and so well-deserved. Just because we age doesn't mean we have to stop playing. And I constantly, there's a quote that I constantly am saying, and it's, we don't stop playing because we age because we stop playing. And I think that represents Maria's place and our passion so much, and it's everything that we're trying to share. So just wanted to add that in because it just like sparked in my mind when you said all that, Pat.
Yeah. Go ahead, Pat.
I totally agree. I was just going to say, absolutely everything you said, Stephanie. And I just think it is, again, empowering for the caregiver, or even if it's a paid caregiver. Like you said, they reach a point where, what am I going to do? What can I talk about next? And to give a little challenge, but yet help them be successful and have, so both individuals are happy and feel good.
Yeah.
So I cannot say enough about that. So I just don't think that there's been anything out there on the market like this with the variety. So thank you.
I agree. I'm just going to call Renee back in. She's still on the line here, and see if she agrees with what you gals are talking about in terms of the variety and stages and adaptability of the various activities. Renee, any comments from you?
Oh, absolutely. There are so many different levels. And one thing I like is it even explains that with the levels, if it says you can do this as an individual, you can do this as a group, and then it will say, if it's moderate or, I don't know the exact wording, but it's like how much cognitive skill the senior has, that this is what you do for this and this is what you do for that. It's fabulous. It's fabulous. And so there's times that, depending on who is at senior spot that day, depends on how I approach things. So yeah, it is great the way it's all it's laid out. It's so easy to do. It's taken away a lot of my work. So I don't have to worry about coming up with things. It's there. So.
Well, and that's fantastic. I mean, we need these resources that, you know, aren't just superficial, but they really dive deep and meet the needs and are easily accessible and understandable to implement. And I think that is, you know, what Maria's Place has really done. They have pulled so many different resources together, and they've really, I don't want to say dumbed it down, but they've just made it like so easy, so you know we can't screw it up. And there's so many different options. Plus it's educational for us to try these things. They take the scariness out of it, because otherwise it's like, oh, they're never going to be able to do this because we have our perceptions in the way. And they're there to say, hey, if that doesn't work, then this is the next level you try. And I think that's a huge important step of just being able to remove the fear and give people access, both free and paid for accounts is just marvelous. Stephanie, what other responses have you gotten from people? Are they all just raving fans? I would kind of imagine that they are.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say I've had personally much negativity. I've had a lot of people, have take me up on the coaching part, and that's been super fun. Like, just people who, we all kind of relate, and we all know, nursing. We all can relate that, like Pat kind of said earlier, you're going to get your blood pressure checked, and, how to get your temperature checked and things like that. And you have your vitals that you get daily sometimes, but we don't have the things that are also important on the same level. And I think that is what's becoming more important and more relevant nowadays is something as simple as leisure is so important. I mean, I say quality of life, but simplified, it's leisure. I mean, we think about, someone the other day was telling me how, it just kind of hit her when she was going through our box that we think about our days and we fulfill our days with everything. There's meaning, there's purpose, it's well-rounded, all of our needs are being met, not just nursing needs. We take our vitamins every morning. Yes, we have our medicines that we need to take. But then we're also adding leisure into our lives, like on our own when we're independent. And why does it get taken away just because we're growing up or just because we need some extra care? It shouldn't. And so when I think about, she was saying, I thought about myself as a caregiver, and I only would think, consider like, oh, I'm just taking care of them nursing wise. I never thought about how I can take care of them in their other needs, and now they're actually happy when I'm taking care of them, and they're not giving me behaviors, and they're not wandering as much, they're not yelling or acting out, they're sleeping, things like that, because they're stimulated in the ways that we all need to be throughout the day. And she was just saying how much more fulfilled that not only the person she's taking care of is, but she is too. And that just warmed my heart, and I could relate on so many levels. That's half the reason I became a recreational therapist, and I just love that. So I think I got off topic maybe, but that's kind of what I just wanted to share.
Well, and, there's no way to get off topic. When you're passionate about something, it comes through, and it's all important stuff, so no need to apologize. I love that you are excited about what you're doing. I love that you feel this is important and it's making a difference, because, when you speak with passion, people believe you, and they not only see the difference, but they feel the difference. And that's huge. That just makes a huge difference in the world. And it gives, it empowers people to try something new themselves. Maybe it's tapping into what you've done. Maybe it's giving them strength and hope that they've got an idea, and maybe they could start something too, because they've got that passion, but they just don't know how to step forward with it. And that's one of the things I love about doing the radio show, is I think it's very interesting conversations that inspire people to believe they too can make a difference in the world. And I think that is a critical space that needs to be filled and empowered today and every day, in our world.
Absolutely.
So, Renee, was there any other comments that you wanted to add at all?
Don't stop doing what you're doing.
Okay.
This place has got to last for a long time, because it is so needed, and we use it. Like I said, I use it all the time, and the seniors love it.
Fantastic. And Renee, how about you? Anything that you would like to add?
Or Pat, I think.
Or Pat, I'm sorry,
Pat.
I just talked to Renee.
Okay.
Yep.
No, that's okay. Okay. I am on board with all that's been said, and again, it's a wonderful resource for me in the community, and I also facilitate the Alzheimer's support group, so it's a resource there to talk to caregivers, and it's a resource for anybody who's aging, because almost everybody could find something challenging in the box too. So,
yep.
It's refreshing that it can be an intergenerational activity. So say you don't have dementia, but you're just aging, and you want to know what to do, with a grandchild. Some of those activities would be perfect. So anyway, I just can't say enough good things about it. So thank you.
Well, thank you so much for calling in, both Renee and Pat. Stephanie, I want to throw a question back to you, because offline we were talking about behavior as a way of communicating. Can you talk about that, and what does that mean, and how does Maria's place help with that communication?
Yeah, this statement, I swear I preach it more than I do anything else. I actually learned the statement at a camp that I worked at a few years ago, and it has stuck with me throughout my entire career and my entire journey working with older adults. And honestly, any individual, like not just older adults, but when you think about being a caregiver and you immediately go to, oh my goodness, and I kind of said this earlier, but my loved one isn't sleeping, or my loved one is just screaming nonstop, or constantly, acting out, if you will, wandering. So many times we as a caregiver can get so overwhelmed, and we just stop and we don't know what to do, because we immediately just try to fix their behavior. So they're wandering, so we try and just sit them down, or they're not sleeping, so we just, put some music on or something. But what we're forgetting is that statement, behavior is communication. They are communicating to us through their behaviors, especially with individuals who have dementia. When I would train staff on dementia training, it was always this topic, because if you just take a second and you just kind of look at what is their behavior, and then you focus on, their needs. So again, their quality of life domains. Have they, do they have all their physical needs met? Do they, have their mental stimulation taken care of? Is the light too bright? Is the TV too loud? I mean, little simple things in the environment that could be affecting our loved one that we aren't even aware of, because we're just so focused on trying to stop the behavior. So I basically am just, when I say that, I just try to remind people, especially when I'm coaching, just to take a second, take a step back and really look at your loved one, meet them where they are today, and think about what need isn't being met, and then go from there. Do they need a little bit? Are they uncomfortable? Is the chair uncomfortable? Maybe that's why they're not sitting down. So just trial and error with different things before we go straight to medication. I think it's so important to start thinking about their leisure life and the things that are making them comfortable before we go straight to just trying to medicate and, say that they were acting out when really they were just trying to communicate something to us. So often I, had to revert myself back to, okay, well, what are you trying to communicate? And it went through a series of questions, a series of trial and error with different chairs or different environmental factors. And eventually you'll find that you're going to come to the conclusion so much quicker than you will if you're just going to sit there and, feel defeated. And then you're going to end up coming to the conclusion and feeling a lot happier. So I just remind people to, in the back of their head throughout your day, just constantly tell yourself, behavior is communication. If behavior is happening, there's communication happening, and I need to try and figure out what is being communicated.
Yeah, that's a really, really important. Now, one of the things that you guys also have is, and I mentioned this earlier, but you have a ton of videos on the site for people to access. But your YouTube channel also, has a fun box explanation. You have benefits of using the activity boxes for senior living communities, and you even have one that helps describe what the printed daily packages include for descriptions. And there's just so many different things here. And then just heartfelt craft activities, with Maria's Place. Again, I don't fall in love with that many services as much as I have with Maria's Place, but I just think they fill a gap that is so deep and so wide and so needed, especially during this time of COVID, but even before that and after it's under control. We have got to step up to the plate and make things easier for people to provide services and give them ideas, give them hope, give them new ways to engage, break down those barriers of, that's not possible anymore. So many, especially in the arts pieces, I think people's egos have kind of left the building and they're not worried what everyone's going to think anymore. And so they're much freer to be able to display and have fun with the arts and crafts because they're not worried about, am I doing it right? What are other people how are they going to be judging me anymore? So some of it is for, I think, the care partners need to let go and really be able to let that all come into play. Now you can get information at Maria's Place. Again, it's just mariasplace.com, about as simple as it gets. You can contact them at contact@mariasplace.com. They're on Facebook and Pinterest. And Facebook is Maria's Place. There's no com. I think it's just Maria's Place. And then Pinterest is seniors, plural, activities. And lots and lots of great information there. Stephanie, anything that we haven't covered that I've missed in terms of our line of questioning that you really feel people need to know about Maria's Place?
I don't think so. I think that about sums it up. I'm just excited to start, hearing from new people and start helping impact, more older adults and caregivers. So
wonderful.
Start reaching out.
Yep, mariasplace.com. Let them make your life easier and a lot more fun. You guys are really about reducing stress and relieving the pressure and opening up opportunities for people to just be and enjoy, try new things. It's very, very important to do. So, Stephanie, I so appreciate your time. I appreciate our listeners calling in as well and sharing their thoughts because I think it's wonderful to hear what people who are actually using a product, service, or tool really think. How's it going? Sometimes things can look perfect on the web, but they're difficult to implement. And what we heard here today was, man, it couldn't be simpler and it couldn't be more affordable. And this stuff works, and the end client loves this, and that's what it's all about. So great job to you, Stephanie, and Maria and Nichole. for pulling this together, to keeping your website just really crisp and clean. And, it's a fun place to go. It's the visuals, the pictures. You've got stuff from seated exercises to riddles to, food before meals. The list just goes on and on and on in terms of what the options are. The writers group, we wrote a poem today saying Seaside Poem. It's just endless. You will find something there that you're looking for. I don't care what it is you're looking for. They have really a wide range of options to meet just about any group's needs and any individual's needs. So again, kudos for what you're doing, and encourage listeners to check them out. And when you're on their site, I would just encourage people to share the site. They have a real easy share button on the side for Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, and more. So don't just keep them a secret to yourself. Spread the word. That's how we make the world better, is by sharing knowledge that we've learned. So again, thank you so much for being with us, Stephanie. Enjoyed our time today. And
Me too. Thank you so much.
Great. And again, their website is mariasplace.com, mariasplace.com. And you can always check out alzheimerspeaks.com. That's our main website, and for other resources as well. And I'd like to give a last-minute shout-out to MD VIP. They still have their brain health survey out there, and you can check that out by going to alzheimerspeaks.com. It's right on the front page, as well as the Dementia Caregiver Burnout Survey. The more time we can take to fill some of those things out, the more research and data we're going to have to improve services for those dealing with dementia. So until next time, everybody, have a wonderful week, and we'll talk soon. Thank you so much for joining us. Bye now.
Hi, everyone. This is Meredith from the Senior Fitness with Meredith podcast, where I discuss all things for seniors, from fitness, your health and wellness journeys, how to be all over strong and beyond. I also have my mini podcast called Motivation with Meredith. It's a great, quick motivational pick-me-up for your days. Join me, listen now, search for Senior Fitness with Meredith on your favorite podcast platform.